deconstruct, demystify, unveil, and unfold. Because there's more to the arts than meets the eye if you see it through the looking glass.
I look fantastic. Ego, or one might even argue self-esteem, has no place in comedy on the stage. You need to be able to give up yourself completely and utterly and let the character take over.
And while it's common for performing artists to give themselves over to their characters, we're looking at Pakistani fine artists who've explored the idea of presenting themselves through their art.
There's a certain arrogance, I think, in people who want to be creative. That is, you are not happy with the world as it is, or you desire to have some sort of immortality, that you leave the world changed. This is something that I think is more important than creativity itself.
Theatre's been dead for as long as I remember.
Musicals like Chicago, they might be technically very competent, but there's no soul in them.
Soul. This is not soulless, it's not baseless. It's pure and simple fun. I'm asking you guys to come out here to enjoy yourself.
This week on The Looking Glass, we're looking at what jewellery means to us. And we've also been talking to some artists who've explored these meanings to say something about themselves and the society that they live in.
It is about vanity, of course, but it's also about presence, of power, of strength.
People think that photography as fine art is only those photographs resembling paintings or manipulated. But a straight photograph can also be fine art. It's how you see things.
And now, are you going to put this in sun or something, or are they done?
No, they're done.
If we go back to Aristotle, man is a political animal, and therefore any art that man may produce may be seen as political.
They say that politics is a dirty game, but it turns out there's some cleaner ways of playing it.
Every ad has a purpose behind it. And if in its execution it doesn't seem obviously sensible, they're working on a different layer of your psychology.
Me in my Magnum, yeah, I saw a billboard in Sialkot and I wanted that Magnum. But again, I wasn't sure if it was the Magnum I wanted or
अगर आप 1000 तस्वीरों में एक तस्वीर आला खींच लेते हैं, it was a bloody accident. मगर आप 50 तस्वीरें या खींचते हैं और उसमें आपकी 40 सही आई हैं, then you've hit the nail.
I don't care if the photographer was hanging upside down to take the picture. I'm only interested in what happened in that frame.
I think buildings learn. Architects seldom learn, but buildings learn.
The Aga Khan University Hospital reminds you that life is beautiful. How does the design of a mosque come together to speak of spirituality and transcendence?
To be very empirical is the object of science.
But art is something that is extremely subjective, extremely personal.
But the truth is that there's a lot of science to art, and there is actually some art to science. But we come down to one crucial point. There is a dividing line between science and art, and to cross it often spells disaster.
I think music is probably the first form of communication that mankind did.
Music is about connecting. It's not about freeze-drying something at home.
How many of our artists would be able to survive outside the walls of the recording studio?
A lot of them won't, no.
We're asking the question, what is your identity?
You know, very often we go back in order to move forward.
And despite the untimely end, at least Shanacht managed to bring people together under the umbrella of shared identity, showing us where we see eye to eye, but also where we don't necessarily always agree.
Lawyers hang their mistakes, doctors bury their mistakes, and architects display their mistakes.
Because the city is not only brick and mortar, it is about relationships.
Let's take a look at designs that fit the bill and fit it to perfection.